Hey there, this is Tim with an Elite Dangerous video looking at the brand new Beta 2.0. First of all, I'm going to look through the menus here and show you that there are new tutorials. There's 5 of them: docking, target practice, basic combat, travel and advanced combat. Most of the other menus are the same. Basically they've renamed a few things. Clearing your save game is now in the options screen, although it doesn't actually work, because here you can see I've just deleted my save game. Then I go to start, which is now what the game menu is called, and it still has all my stats, so it doesn't actually wipe the stats at all yet. You still have open play, private group, solo, and you know, those are all the same. I'm going to go into solo, which is basically still online, so you're affected by market transactions of other players and everything, but you are only ever going to see AI ships. As this is loading, keep an eye on the version number at the bottom left. The reason for that is because they've had a few issues with 2.0, 2.01, and they're now actually on 2.02, but you'll actually see that I jump back and forth between versions, because I was able to record certain things in 2.0 and then certain other things didn't work right, so I waited and recorded them in the later version, blah 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 blah. So basically I'm just going to take you into the station here, give you a good look at the new UI. You could see a lot of changes in the cockpit as well, but this is a massive change. There's way more information. You've got the ship info is right there in front of you, with quick access to refueling, repairing, everything like that. You have news over on the right side, so it actually feels much more to me like a fully fledged game now. And you know, this is all really important news as well, because you know, if you're seeing these news items on the Civil War, and if you want to, you can go and take part in that Civil War right now. And then you have the munitions menu, the repairs menu, which actually has had the prices changed a little bit, so that's actually quite nice to see as well. The bulletin board is there, which is for jobs, and then you have the contact menu, which you can see right here, which actually has the same contact still in it as the previous version. Now outfitting, oh my goodness, is this different. You can see the things over on the left side, and something that you can see they're starting to bring in now is you know, ship mass, that you can change things eventually, like the hyperspace drive, everything like that really. And over on the right side you can actually see some information about this Sidewinder, because the maximum cargo capacity, for example, is 4, and I currently have 0. So you now really can't use the Sidewinder in any effective way to trade, which is something that I was really concerned about. And they also have this thing here for the cartographics, which is maps, obviously. And you can actually buy information that other players have found about systems that they've traveled to, and basically you'll then know what's there, you'll know what you can trade when you get there. That's an amazing thing that I really hadn't thought of either. Quick look in the bulletin board, and now you can see over on the right side it says Erinin Federal, Erinin, etc, etc. And basically if you help or do missions that are based on or for one side, then it affects how the other side feels about you. So it's much more like the previous Elite games, where you have these kind of standings and rankings and things like that, where people don't want you to work for them if you have a certain history. And there you can see what a mission profile looks like. They have quite nice icons on the left side as well, as you can see with the 2 arrows going back and forth. That's obviously like a transportation or a cargo run. You have the target site for anything which is combat, so it's really easy and quick to see what you're actually looking for. Now let's have a quick look around the cockpit here. You can see the UI is massively different. In my opinion, it looks great. There's been a few people that have complained about the smoky effect and things like that, but I mean, I think that the environment within the ship is it's not going to be perfect air quality or anything like that. So you might have a bit of dust flying around and all sorts. But yeah, here's a good look at the menus as well. I like how they've kind of changed a lot of how the tabs work. Everything like that, really. I'm just really very satisfied by all of this. And the navigation tab here on the left side, you can see the galaxy map, and the system tab are now on the left. Let's go and look in the galaxy map here, and as you can see, the playable bubble is now lozenge shaped rather than a circle, and basically it's expanded quite far out, really. There's supposed to be 500 systems now that you can visit, but unfortunately, as you can see, Sol, which you can see over to the right side of the screen there, and Achenar are not inside the playable bubble. So you can't go to the Federal home base, you can't go to the Imperial home base, and Larvae is actually right up at the top of the screen right now. You also cannot visit kind of the piratey kind of areas too, which you know, Larvae would actually be the system that I always started playing Elite 2. Although I would usually end up in the Federal systems later in my games. Let's have a look at the system view now. This is completely new to Beta 2, and you can actually get a lot of information here. You can see this is the first planet. It says it's an Earth-like world, and you can see now that there is an orbital station, and there is one of the normal stations that we've seen. Excuse me. So basically, we now have multiple stations within single systems, which is brand new. There's a lot of information over on the left side about each planet, about each location, usual imports, exports, prohibited goods, which is also fairly new as well. Information on all the other planets. This is another orbital platform. And then more planets, and you can actually zoom in quite nicely too. Some of these planets I'd actually never been to because there was no real reason to, and now that there's orbital stations, I think the other planets will actually be getting a lot more traffic now, which is quite interesting as well. So back to the system map, let's have a look at what a different system looks like. And there you go, we're looking at Dahan now. This is another system that I would regularly visit, and just looking through all the different locations. And again, this system has more than one starbase in it, and it's calling this one a Metalworks, so that's quite interesting. It's actually got exports of different metals, so that's quite nice too. You kind of know that you can actually possibly even do trade runs within the same system there. That's quite an interesting thing to think about as well. Looking around the system map now, and another quick look at the lozenge before I leave the map here. Excuse me. And here I've just picked a system at random, and it has no description on the left side. Most of these systems, it looks like they have absolutely no description. That one there, it actually said it was had a Federation allegiance, but you can see there's very little information about it. Basically, the only thing that's known is the asteroid field there. So this is somewhere that if you visited, you could actually explore, and you could sell the information about the system on various bulletin boards, but you have to bring the information back apparently. So you can't just kind of sell it there and expect it to propagate out. You actually have to bring it back to a location and actually sell. So now I'm going to undock, and there's a new feature which is a pre-flight checklist. And there's actually been a few times, because I kind of mess around with my controllers a little bit, there's been a few times where I haven't had a control mapped that I should have mapped to actually undock. It took me a little while to work out what I'm supposed to do here. You're actually supposed to hold down the control and until the box gets checked, but it actually took me a little while to work that out. But basically you just go through here and confirm that you have all of the controls, and this is disabled with a little kind of yes/no control on the right hand menu in the cockpit. So if you don't want to do this after the first time, you do not have to. I actually had a little bit of trouble getting roll on yaw to actually work, so I went into the options quickly and assigned yaw to just a point of view hat on my joystick that I wasn't using, just so I could undock and basically show what the station looked like. Okay, there we go. Alright, and as you can see, I've actually started out on one of the orbital stations rather than one of the normal sort of Coriolis stations. Just waiting for it to actually let me fly away here.
Ship released.
There we go. And like I said, I am on solo mode right now, so every ship that you'll see is AI. And here's a really good look at the orbital station. You can see there's another ship on the left hand side, so I'm going to select that. And we're scanning, and over on the left side you can see it's a hauler. You can see the name Christopher Newport, which actually means that they have now imported the names that backers on Kickstarter. For example, there will be an AI somewhere in this universe called Tim Wheatley. So that should be quite interesting when one of you runs across that one. But you could also see that it actually had his combat classification over on that side too. And you can see different sized docking bays, various canisters. I don't know whether it's oxygen or whatever. And you can see another ship coming into dock there. And there are actually landing bays on the top and the bottom, because really there is no up or down in space anyway. So and this station, unless they're using something that I'm not really aware of, there would be no gravity on this station anyway, so up and down definitely does not exist. There's an interesting platform here with what looks like some ship wreckage on it. Not quite sure what that is, or whether there's going to be some story behind it, but thought that was quite interesting. And various kind of things here, whether they are antennas or various things. You can see the landing pads on the bottom there. And here there is a defense kind of turret with some interesting looking lasers on them. So now if you do anything bad, it might not just be the station body itself firing at you, but there might also be some turrets floating in space that will also find you and try to take you down as well. A little bit later on in the video I'll actually get myself in some trouble just so I can show you what kind of combat capabilities these guys have. Now you can see in the background how gorgeous the planet looks as well. I think they've done some work on the actual base graphics as well. Looks good to me. And there you can see there's a one of the AI ships, and I'm just going to follow him. If you look at the bottom left, you'll see what happens in a moment. He's actually flying away there, and then he flashed and he was gone, and now there's a white signal in front of me which is a high energy FSD wake. So like in similar Elite games, you'll actually be able to scan the destination where someone has gone to. I couldn't actually get it to work. You know, I don't know whether I need a like a module for my ship to be able to read them, like you had in previous Elite games, but it didn't work for me. So right now I'm going to go to a different location. I'm going to go to the Coriolis station in this system that I've been to many times before, and just show you the differences between the bulletin boards, because there was a couple of things that weren't even on the station menu. I don't know if you could trade goods. I don't know if there was a commodities menu, for example. So I'm just going to go to Azerbaijan City.
Temperature critical.
Right now I'm going a bit slow because I'm still caught in the planet's gravitational pull here, so I'm just trying to get away from that a little bit. And if you look down at the scanner, you can kind of see a little visual indicator of when you're actually out of that pull. The planet is currently red, so it's actually affecting me right now. And there you go, it's just changed to blue. And if you look at the speed on the bottom left, you can see I kind of started to speed up as soon as that planet turned blue. And now I'm kind of having to throttle back to make sure I don't overshoot the station here. And you can see there's actually a countdown of time underneath the distance. I'm not really sure how that works, because for me it's not completely accurate yet, but I guess it might be useful for some people. Anyway, I've now arrived outside Azerbaijan City, and if you look at the kind of 3D holographic model at the bottom left, you can actually now see on that which side the docking port is on, so maybe it'll be a bit easier to find which end of the station you should be flying towards now. And here, just looking at the UI, I mean, there's a lot of information on here now that is all kind of pertinent. It's all really quite nice to see on the UI, and it's being displayed in a really nice way. Okay, coming into dock here. I didn't have my controller set up exactly how I actually want it to be set up, because I wiped things clean before installing Beta 2. So please forgive my crappy flying. I'm going towards docking bay 29, which is at the back there. And you can see they've definitely done some work on these visuals as well. And the sounds too seems quite a lot different. Speaking of which, I mean, the release notes thread was just massive for this build, absolutely massive, and I'm not even really scratching the surface. I'm really not. Quick look at how things are displayed there. Okay, and you can see a couple more options on the left hand side in this station as opposed to the orbital station that I was at previously. Quick look in the bulletin board here. And you can see there's a lot of kind of courier missions. There's what looks like a an assassination mission up at the top with a picture of the skull. But let's have another quick look in the outfittings. Okay, so I mean, you've still got weapons, alloys for the outside of the ship, the power plants, the thrusters, the hyperspace drive, life support, power distribution, sensors, fuel tank, shield generators, discovery scanners, cargo racks. I mean, it's crazy now what they've brought into this. It's not just anymore, you know, what kind of hardware are you going to fit in terms of, you know, combat, but you know, what are you going to have in terms of being able to just carry some cargo somewhere to make some money? You know, it's fantastic. It's literally, they've made Elite what it used to be, which is hard. It's hard to get going, and you know, that's part of the reason why I loved it, is that it was difficult, and it wasn't one of those games that let me win straight away. It was one of those games that I felt great about because I beat it. And you know, beating an easy game isn't fun. Beating a difficult game makes you feel very, very good. I quite like this Erin in traffic support. It tells you what types of ships have been through the system. So another look at the UI over here. You can see my rank is now harmless, and unfortunately my kill count hasn't been reset yet, which is kind of annoying. You know, I'd kind of like to start on 0 so I can actually build it up properly. But anyway, the rankings being in place is huge for me, because you know, you might go up to a ship that you think you can destroy, but the guy might be dangerous or even be elite or something like that, and you think, no, I should probably stay clear of this guy. So as I'm leaving here, there's actually a couple of AI ships that I scan, and you can see there's a hauler there. His name is Jetman, and he is dangerous. So even though he's in a hauler, you know, you never know. It might be best to kind of steer clear of the guy. And then there's another ship coming in behind that one, called Joni Joni Cash, which is obviously Johnny Cash, and he or she is deadly and has a clean record, so you can immediately see it at the bottom left. And you can see there's another hyperspace wake there that I assume you need a component added to actually be able to scan, because it just currently says scanning, but nothing actually happens. I wanted to see if there's been any change with ship defences or anything like that, so I went to find that that System Authority vessel that just scanned me, and wanted to see what happened. You could see a little kind of deadly, like the Elite logo come up next to him on the ship UI. I thought that was quite cool. But basically I'm just going to start a fight here so I can see if there's anything different with insurance or anything like that. You can see I'm currently harmless, and you can see the harmless logo over on the right hand side, which doesn't have kind of the wings from the Elite logo or anything like that. I'm still within the no fire zone of the station, by the way. So not only will this Authority vessel perhaps start fighting at me, but the station has already started to fire at me as well.
Shields on. Technically critical. Eject. Eject.
So that's me dead in my Sidewinder very, very quickly. Okay, so this is what the insurance screen looks like now, and this is very, very interesting. It's actually, you can choose which components to refit. And I think that's quite interesting, because if you don't have enough money to complete the old loadout, you can part it out. And then it's also talking on the right hand side about a creditor, so you can actually take out a loan. That seems quite strange to me, but anyway. So back at the orbital station now, I'm going to see how those defense turrets work. And here we go. That was cool. Fairly fast response, really. And I'm going to try to get kind of under the station here, but then I noticed that there's another turret on the left-hand side that's also firing at me. So I want to see if I can escape from these. And I still have my landing gear down, which is kind of slowing things up a little bit, but I didn't really notice that until a few moments from now. But they're actually missing quite a bit. So the defense guns on one of the normal stations, one of the Coriolis stations, are obviously much more capable than these kind of turrets sort of in space around one of these orbital stations. Okay, with everything kind of reset, I'm now going to go and show you what happens to the galaxy map and system information when you buy something from the cartographics menu. Coming into dock here, and I actually came into the docking port facing the wrong way, so I actually have to spin round in a moment, but you'll see me do that.
Warning. Landing gear not deployed.
But anyway, I'm approaching the end of the video. While I'm docking here, I just want to basically say that as soon as they figure out the kind of small little bugs that they've introduced with this new version, which really, for me, I always seem pretty lucky, and I don't really seem affected by many of the bugs, whether my system is very similar to one that they regularly test with or something like that, I don't know.
Engines disengaged.
But really, this is everything that I wanted from the Elite game now, with very, very few exceptions. So for me, this is a fully playable game right now, and as soon as they sort out those little issues, I'm so happy with this. Anyway, I'm in the cartographics menu. You can see GD319, which is the system that I'm going to just check out what changes on the map. If you remember that, GD319. Okay, into the galaxy map and search for GD319. There it is. Okay, so let's have a look at the information on the system itself. No description. Says it's got a 50,000 population, but all the information that's in the system map here is an asteroid ring and the star itself. So let's go and buy the information from the starport services and then see how things work here. Okay, it's actually disappeared off that screen now, so I'm going to go back into the galaxy map, I've still got it selected, but I thought I would research for it just to see if anything refreshed. Doesn't look like it did, but here, look at this. I have a few more planets there, up to 6 planets. You can actually see there's some information missing. I mean, that's listed as A, but you can, I mean, you can see there's supposed to be something between the blue gas giant and this one, which is 1C. So what happened to 1B, 1A? You know, you basically even know that there's a planet called 2 which is missing. So, you know, this is somewhere where you could go and explore, and then you could bring the information back and you could sell it. This is a type of gameplay that I really hadn't considered, so it's really interesting that it's there, and I'm quite interested in that, especially if, like David Bradman was saying in a recent interview, that if you sell to one side, the other side's going to be kind of angry at you, and vice versa. So it's really interesting. I'm so pleased with where this game is going right now.